obviously, because I know from inside the police, there are people that are concerned about this, because some of the texts and some of the emails I get, and also as well, we hear about these 20,000 officers and pumping people through the TEQ area. We don't need people with degrees. What we need are people who understand actually what's happening in communities, what creates poverty. 8% of crime is not poverty.
I'm sorry, but a degree doesn't make you...
Exactly. This is the crime. Let me kill out.
I never went to university.
Exactly. What we don't need is TEQ. We don't need. We have to turn it going down and the public by actually making them do things that basically, I agree. And mental health,
you can educate people.
But what I want to be able to do is if we don't want police officers, and these are the things people need to ask themselves. We might agree to this. We have to sort of like dumbing down our country, you know, just to push through some legislation that really is actually like I said, you know,
warning, you are being dispersed from this area under coronavirus
Thank you for having this conversation with me, but please, can I kindly just instruct you to please...
Yeah, it's nice to have somebody that's having a conversation.
I agree. No, thank you very much. Again, like the instructions to this person has been delivered twice already in my hearing. So I kindly ask this gentleman to please just leave. Yeah. Yeah.
When you also know I won't name the police actually, and there was a coronavirus code that was painted before it came out.
I will not start talking about Dominic coming in here.
But you'll know as well, back in Lloyd House, the amount of people behind the scenes that are giving it this and they ain't going to come out on the streets. When I first joined out to do a 12-hour shift down in Newtown, I watched what the real police do, taking somebody who's hanging himself off a bridge, somebody who died in the street, somebody got stabbed in the street. But that's what the real police do. And that's what people don't see, and that's what you see is actually most of the decent people doing the decent stuff. And that's what the police is on TV. That's what the police to get the exposure and they start falling down people. And also as well, dragging people out cars and taking their mum from a home. Because that's the point at which I know, if I go and see my mum,
you would actually lose your job before you tell people to think that you don't believe it. So these are the things that I think most people think about when it's not just giving people
a decent person. I do recognise that a lot of people here that know there are certain things they've got to do because if you don't, I know shit when you get back to base.
There's always a few bad apples.
But that's the truth. With a few bad apples in most systems, when it's a control, it's the good apples you let out bad apples. You've got some decent blokes, people. My partner are
and these are some of the things you think.
Yeah, you know he was a chief. I don't know he was a chief. I'm sure I'd like to think when you came into the job you didn't think it.
No, of course not. Yeah, exactly.
Where was he based?
I've joined the job too. Obviously, that'll work with it, and I'm very proud of that. Obviously, I've got to follow any lawful order. I've got to.
No defence, right? So this will come out at some stage. The people will realise what's going on, and the government will look out, and what they don't want whether they or you can associate because more people are dying. What the lockdown they're imposing. These are the things you have to think about. Do I want to be on the side of humanity or on the side of people that actually sort of lock people down and cause the deaths of people?
It's your friends and family.
We are all over 50. I've never come out, even through my early days, I never came out for something like this. So this we've got so many cameras. Make noise. These are real people that have gone about their lives, tried to make a life, and the government's at war with people. The thing is, how can you lock down the hospitality industry? That's the only time that people get to socialise. How can running a business or working in essential work be more important than people community? Because people are human beings. Human beings are social beings. We're interconnected. We're globally connected. You can see it's happening all over the world. The challenge is, we need to work together. I'm not saying you go back and you don't follow your bosses, because I understand you've got a bigger risk to me, because I've got 10, 20 years invested in the police. I understand the fear. It's not seen to people's eyes. They'll say this in the corridor, but they won't say it to the managers because they know it stops their promotions. And that's what surprised me. When I worked for police, once people clocked off, the only thing I was interested in is, can I get through the assessment centre? So I designed those assessment centres. I knew the exercises. And when I tried to make it better so we could get proper people through, they didn't want to raise the standard. They still want to get their own people through. and you'll know that this is happening because I've worked with people that are great PCs can never make it to sergeant, great sergeants can't make it to inspector, great inspectors can't make it to chief inspector, great chief inspectors can't make it to superintendent, great superintendents can't make it to chief superintendent, great chief superintendents can't make it to the chief constable, because you know what Mr. Dave Thompson wants? He's looking for his knighthood. And actually, Dave Thompson knows how to play this game, and he's a sharp guy. And he knows the real deal. He calls in Bappa, he listens to what they say, he listens to them, and then he sets the rabbits running, and he makes it look like things are happening. It ain't changing. And what it's actually doing is actually disfranchising rank and file, because it's being used to actually dismantle the police. So we understand what you've got to do, but remember the Pelian Principles, 1892, go back to those 10 principles. The police are the public are the police. The absence of crime is the most effective indicator of effective policing service. Now you're being used to control the public. That's the issue.
Yeah. And you're here to support.
None of us have broken a shot. None of us are doing things that are unlawful. We're actually
We're here, educate. You're here
one of the things I'm prepared to
educate.
risk, and I do understand, is
You're
there
here
are
to educate.
people that are dying, but be very clear. One of the things about any virus is we know that when the winter comes, viruses spread, so there's always going to be a spike.
Yeah.
How come nothing else is anything else now but COVID? And they've stopped reporting deaths now. They're reporting now died of COVID within 28 days of a test.
Got cancer, you die of
They're
COVID.
putting out false facts, and then when the facts don't work, the next week they'll then say, oh, we'll do this, and everybody's forgetting about it.
There'll be a third wave after Christmas, New Year's.
And what the whole agenda was, whether or not we like it or not, is we can't get this done quickly. So obviously what we've got to then do is make sure we've got a vaccine to save us. Once we begin altering the RNA and DNA of human beings, that's the road to nowhere.
Do not take the vaccine.
And I do know that.
Do not take the
And I do know
vaccine.
deoxyribonucleic and the nucleic. I know once you change that, you change the fabric of man. And we ain't perfect. Some of us have made a decent job of just trying to have a decent life.
Yeah.
But most of the people you see out here aren't people that want to come and make up noise. That's why I know there's some people who want to disrupt marches. I've come from Birmingham myself, because this is where I grew up. This is where I grew up when I watched Clinton McCurb get strangled in Next.
Yeah.
So we've seen what happened in the 70s, we've seen what happened in the 80s, and the challenge is, because technology flooded in the 90s, most of our younger generations, I'm glad to see some young people out here, they're seeing this for the first time. And I know now, when I was with the police and Boris polled 20,000 people, I had people saying, he'll get my vote. He's fooling you. He's fooling you. He's fooling everybody. The community, the police. Now we know sooner or later push is going to shove and we're going to be on different sides, but I'm on the side of humanity. I'm not on the side of freedom.
We're on the side of your
I'm on the side of
families.
humanity. Because my youth's growing up now and he's living in a world where he can't think or feel for himself. He has to wait for an instruction. What they're going to tell us now when we're going to brush our teeth. We always knew that hygiene was reasonable. One of the things my mum said to me is the only dirt that kills you is the dirt that falls on top of you.
Yeah.
The human body is one of the most powerful things we've ever got. Yes, it can't do everything. And we also know that more people are dying from cardiovascular disease than they are from COVID. So why is this so big compared to everything else that's taken out of human beings?
Why don't they put out an agenda which promotes healthy eating?
And also, or an agenda that says, you might not agree, but let's have the conversation. For years, Twitter and all those things couldn't shut down paedophiles. Now they can wipe out one text in a split second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Wake up to the facts. Wake up to this, man. It's not about, this ain't about skill. This is about the will to do it.
You're being exploited.
And believe me, the challenge is, most of us, and this is the fear now, a lot of people have worked hard to build up things. The issue now is not about keeping your things, because at any stage it's going to be taken away from you. So what you got left? What have we got left?
Everybody should stop.
What have we got left?
Again, thanks for your time and explaining things so well. But unfortunately, I've got to say it again, guys. You all need to disperse at this moment in time. I know it's something.
The things I understand that, but what we can do, you know what we can do? We can play a game, we can walk in a circle, we come back here, we have the conversation again.
Okay.
Now, at the end of the day, if we don't disperse, we're not causing a problem. How is it really then going to be an issue? If we don't disperse now, we carry on a conversation, we need to sit down, somebody buy a coffee.
We're having a conversation. We're being
Bring some
educated.
of the other officers at least, you two guys.
Yeah,
Let's
you're
sit down, let's
listening,
keep
you're being
2 yards apart,
educated.
and everybody sit down. That's a
Yeah.
much more progressive picture
Definitely.
than anything else,
Yeah.
than you being seen to disperse. Because it does suit some people who might say they're supporting us, that ain't supporting this or supporting that. Because some people just want some trouble.
Yeah, true.
Now, if we wanted to, we could all stand 2 meters apart, we could have everybody here, or we could pass a conversation around so everybody gets a voice. And then at the end of the day, one of the things you learn from discourse is actually, if you give me new facts, I'm willing to change my
Because they
opinion.
don't really believe it,
We're
though. That's the
unconscious
trouble. They
bias
are
really built
riddles.
into all of our psyches. We've all got to relearn. Every ideology has changed. Everything is up for grabs. That's why one of the things I understand is this is about life, and I'm going to live my life until my numbers up, because I know my numbers up.
Exactly.
91% of people that have lived have died. And everybody's a Hindu here, I don't want to offend you because you don't come back the same. So you get one chance at this. And it's taken me 54 years to believe, actually, hold on, it ain't about what I've got. I'm collecting memories now.
Yeah.
Because if COVID don't get us, Alzheimer's will anyway. So it's going to get everybody. So what I'm saying is, I understand you're doing your job, but this notion of dispersal, when nothing is actually happening, no shops are being broken, nobody's attacking anybody.
No, everybody's educating each other.
How's that work? How's that work, man? So we don't want to play a game where we walk around the block and then come back and we have a conversation again.
We've been told that we can be educated, that we can be educated, go to school, go to college, whether it's on the street, we've been educated.
Believe me, if you tried to talk to me like this when I was 20, well, you wouldn't have got it because I was ignorant. And I believed that it was cool to be clever and be black, so I thought being black meant doing these nasty things. I can live on both sides of the street. I've tried to live my life doing the right thing, and it's easy to fall into the other stuff. The good thing about when I was growing up, we had generations that were supporters, we had football teams that knew lots of people. Now our kids go to the false because they're bought into the territory issue. How can you tell them not to watch territory when you've got people dominating people's lands all over the different places? You've got to understand the history to this and the history to this. There's a narrative going on, and people are dying. I wouldn't want to see anybody die. And believe me though, I bet you scrape the figures as well as have removed any retribution or any compensation from any liability for anything to do with the health service, anything to do with COVID. So nobody can even challenge this. How is that reasonable in what we're supposed to be a democracy?
Can't even get in the hospitals to see what's going on. Not allowed to visit our relatives to see what's going on.
Most of the people you've seen on these streets, I'm not saying they've got decent jobs, it's not about what job you've got, they're just decent people.
Yeah, decent people.
I ain't come out to smash windows, I ain't come out to make no money, and I actually know, because I've been filmed, that I could lose work because of this. So it's not about me losing work.
It's standing up for everybody.
And if anybody wanted me to go and attack people, I wouldn't be buying into that.
No.
But that's what most of the people you've seen walking around here have been doing. And what's good about this is look at the different faces.
Yeah.
Look at the age groups.
Yeah.
Look at the people that are scared to walk in the group but are walking on the side of the street. Because they actually are beginning to think, hold on, let me look at the facts. And if we sat down and mapped out the facts, believe me, there are lots of different scenarios you can say. What's this tell us from the way this was done in history? What has history taught us? If people are coming and say we need to learn the lessons, we haven't learned the lessons.
No.
The good thing about what's happened today is you've seen nobody throw a punch.
No.
You've seen nobody throw a brick. I haven't seen anybody actually be abusive to any police officer.
No. We've asked them to smile, take your mask down and smile at us, same way we are at you.
No, I do understand. That's why we're not here to play a game of disperse, walk around, crowd again, and you disperse us, because you know what I mean. I've got to get some food in my belly as well. But part of this is recognising that if you're going to take down a system, you've got to have people working from all parts of the system, and you'll know as well. There's a level of corruption in every organisation.
Yeah.
Some of the systemic stuff that is happening across the forces, we've got to stop. We've got to stop. And forcing people, like I said, my beef is how quickly I've seen people try to get through this PEQF, and they're putting people out on the streets that don't even know life. Don't even know life. And it's setting up people. That's why one of the things I do recognise I used to knock was experience. That's why I'm not saying I've got more experience. So some people have got 1 year's experience 30 times over. But we've grown. We ain't running around the streets smashing up windows anymore. We ain't bricking Dunstall Hill police station like we did in the old days. But what do we have to wait for before this happens again? What are we going to have to wait for? My fright is, if my mother goes into hospital, I can't go and see her.
Exactly.
And one of the things I would argue, beware what you're taking away. Is we can't see how people go. Beware of the well-being, that's the spirituality that's welling up here. Because saying goodbye is just as important as saying hello, brother.
Is there other methods of way that you can do this with?
Yeah, there is. But the problem is, there is.
Media, like
but Darren said, but the thing is, you already know that the narrative's been locked down. There's a certain line that's being peddled. And also, Bill Gates is funding the BBC. Bill Gates is funding everything. Bill Gates' father was part of the Parenting Foundation that already had an issue with population control. So did Boris Johnson's family.
Yeah.
So we're back on where people's motivation is about who's valuable in this society. The people that are dying are the people that aren't economically active. The people that can't earn money. They get the most vulnerable people. And everybody knew straight away. What did we do when COVID hit? They built all these big hospitals. It was always not going to be the black spots. It was always going to be the people in care homes, the people that are already vulnerable. And now it's now people got to That is a systemic issue. What do we do? Problem, symptom, reaction. That's what I need. There's no beef between us. But I'm saying this is transversal. What we do need is better conversation. We also need people to actually stand and say, I understand this because I know that a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are scared of losing what they've got. But it's been taken away anyway. And I ain't trying to be no hero.
No, I get this. And again, I thank you for this dialect that we've had. And I know...
You still need me to move?
I know it's something that you all disagree with, but again, we want to do this as calmly and as politely as possible. I understand that, but there's also still millions of other people in the country that are still abiding by the rules. I know that's something you're against.
No, I'm saying I'm against it. If they're abiding by the rules, that's fine. The danger is, the rules haven't stopped.
Yeah.
We always knew, most people, if you watch social media, we knew there was going to be a second lockdown in October because during the winter months, you're going to get a spike in viruses. We get one every year. You can easily take any numbers and make it look like you want to make it look. So we don't report deaths anymore, we report contracted COVID within 28 days. My sister's one of the most vulnerable people I would expect. If she got COVID, I thought that she would have passed. She did get it. And fair enough.
Or a virus, she got the virus.
Nobody around her got it, and she's alright. And 99, what we do know about, if we do what's the statistics, no more people have died during this virus than other viruses. And everything now, doctors have been instructed, and I know people that work in the health service, they're being told to put certain things on death certificates, even though they don't agree with it. So, once you start manipulating the data, and we're in a big data society, be very clear, the facts are out there. Yeah, the facts are out there. So nobody's here distorting the facts. And this is where, when you see it on the media, they'll say, actually, these people are stupid. When my number's up, my number's going to be up. But there are things here that people are doing for the right reason. They're not doing it to promote anarchy. They're not doing it to take down society. They're not doing it to make anybody else scared.
Here to educate
But one of the things we do know is a certain thing, like you said, in life, is you're going to live and you're going to die. You're born to die. There's a certain way I'm going to go out. I'm not prepared to. I'm prepared to risk things to stand up for what I believe in. Now, I realise sitting back and saying that I'm neutral, that's the worst place to be.
Yeah.
Because that's a Swiss position, isn't it? So, you know, it's tough, man. It's tough. But like I said, I'm hopefully talking with a bit of experience now because, like I said, now it's not about going from being mad and going mashing up things. It's talking to people. And once you, and the thing is, that's why they stopped the, you know, where the coffee shops first started in the Yemen, and they blocked them off in the Yemen years ago. Yeah, because people started to exchange ideas, and when people start to have ideas, we've got a problem. Don't we just think?
Especially black men.
Sorry, I'm saying.
God is also there.
There's also, but like I said, if you look at the facts of history, people keep on saying we need to learn the lessons. What lessons have we learned by the way that this is being handled? What lessons have we learned by the way that this is being handled? And there are lots of people that are going to be criminalised because of this. Not because they want to be criminals, but because actually people are saying it's not that it's enough is enough. There's a point to which if you can't stand for yourself, if you can't stand on your own, you're not going to stand in the line. And like I said, what's good about most of these people I see here, I didn't come here with them, we met each other. And we've had conversations, and we've seen now how you can't pass on conversations because it's gone against the narrative. In those days, when we put everything out, it was about tearing down or killing other people. So what's happening now? I see my kids scared to go to school. That's why I make sure my kids doesn't have to do it. I say to my kids, you enjoy your life, because you know that up to the age of 14, you could have got a flip top head. And this experience, the generation we're building now, believe me, you ain't seen what's to come here. The only thing we've got left, the spirit, the body exists in the spirit, it's not the other way around. What you're seeing here is the spirit rising. Because once you break you can't stop it. You can't stop it. You can't put it down to science, be wary, because what the Western world can't prove, it calls magic. I believe in magic.
Nice one, George, man.
Well done, George.
Well done, man.
No, but respect, you got to just, at the end of the day, I am a typical bloke. I like the sound of my own voice.
Still looking good, you are.
All right, people now, just please, just start nice.
It's recording, to be honest. You know.
I don't want to say no, thanks for your time. Honestly.
Thank you for listening to us. Thank you.
My name's George Smalling. When you go back to the station, tell them you spoke to George Smalling. Tell them through the ranks you spoke to George Smalling, because they know. So when I wrote my resignation letter, I wrote the reason why I left. And my concern was knowing that there were so many great people, but actually they've been done down by people with their promotions.
George, you have a good day.
great time, my man.
Let the police know that their future is in danger.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, thank you. Well done, George. Oh, yeah. I will.
No, so look after yourself, people.
You'll be on my...
Don't do anything stupid, but look
No,
after yourself.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're not even going to go viral, mate.
George for president.
He's so far to be up. I told you. The plan. This is a 10-year thing. So we've got to move from network to the global united network. I'm telling you, because there are lots of people. If we get connected, they can't stop people. It's all based on keeping people disconnected. And we know the few trading structures is in networks. We knew that from the day, from back in the day. No, maximum respect. That's how I'm going to make a move anyway. Because now I'm going to do some business.
Right, can you finish now?
No, man, it's all the facts. Because I build things, that's why. I've learned now not to argue from emotion, build from your facts. And the thing is, what you know gets infectious, it's the spirit. Because once you touch people at the spirit level, they have to start questioning the stuff. Exactly. It doesn't matter age or anything, because that's the difference. And we grew up in a time when we knew that's the only thing that kept us safe.
That's what I mean.
It's the only thing that kept
Back
us
in the
safe.
day, my mum would have been saying to you, move on, you're the pussy.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we are. We're the police. You're afraid of somebody. You actually can have a brain. If you act out the way they expect you to act, because they're expecting services. But that's the way we do it. But that's why you keep people safe. You don't make people risky. But this is a long-term thing. Because then you was going to get this for 6 months. Yes, I are. Here he is. I am going to move out now. Say, brother. But I'll catch up with you. Oh, it's good to see you. Your brother's in there, buddy. Yeah. Look after yourself, yes.
George, well done.
Goes out. Maximum respect.